Good morning, students. This little recording is going to be for the class of Pathophysiology for the students of the B.S.N program. We're going to talk about the cell adaptation process of cell atrophy. And we're going to mention different type of cell atrophy. And we're going to go into each one of those. What is cell atrophy and why this cell adaptation process occurs? When confronted with decrease in the work demands or when the cell have adverse environmental conditions, the majority of cells are capable of going to a smaller size in order to be compatible with life. Now, this decrease in cell size, guys, is called atrophy. Now, you may be wondering what is this picture here. We have an upper picture and then a lower picture. This is a histological picture, microscopic picture of the cervix of a normal female of reproductive age, and the one in the bottom is a microscopic slide of the cervix of a female in the late 70s. Now, as you may see at the cellular level, there has been a decrease in size in this slide here, where it shows the cell of the cervix, and this is precisely what we call atrophy. This occurs in the endometrium, okay? Now, cells that are atrophy reduce their oxygen consumption and any other cellular function by decreasing the number of size and the number of organelles and other structures. Now, from the previous lecture of chapter 2, you know what are the organelles, like the mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulum, and all the cell's organelles. Now, the cell size, particularly in the muscle tissue, is related to workload. Now, when the workload of the cell declines, the oxygen consumption and the protein synthesis also decrease. That's why the cells go into a smaller size. There are general different causes of atrophy, and this type of atrophies can be grouped into 5 categories: disused atrophy, denervation atrophy, loss of endocrine stimulation, inadequate nutrition, and ischemia or decreased blood flow. Disused atrophy occurs when there is a reduction in the skeletal muscle use. And one of the examples of disused atrophy is when the muscle of the extremities have been encased in plaster casts for longer period of time, like this picture here. Now, because atrophy is an adaptive process and it's also reversible, muscle size is restored after the cast is removed and the muscle use is resumed. Another type of atrophy is denervation atrophy, and this is a form of disused atrophy that occurs in the muscle of paralyzed limbs. Now, remember, in order for a muscle and the skeletal tissue to properly do movement, it needs to be innervated by the neurological system. So if the neurons that stimulate and innervate the skeletal muscle are destroyed, or if the neuromuscular junctions becomes not functional, then the muscle fibers will progressively become smaller in diameter and the amount of contractile protein will decrease. This is an example of the nervation atrophy. Now, another type of atrophy is when there is lack of endocrine stimulation, and this produces a form that is called disused atrophy. That's why when we talk about the case of the woman that when they lose estrogen stimulation during the menopause, it leads to atrophic changes in the reproductive organ. Now, in conclusion, we're going to see here picture A and picture B. This is an example of atrophy due to lack of endocrine stimulation. As you may see, these are the cells of the endometrium of a woman in reproductive age who have a normal thick endometrium. That's picture A, left picture. Now, in comparison with picture B, it shows an endometrium of a 75 years old woman that have atrophic cells and cystic glands. Now, both slides are being taken at the same magnification of the microscope. So we are talking about the same magnification, just the cell size have been decreased in a 75 years old woman due to lack of endocrine stimulation and due to lack of estrogen. Now that you know the different type of atrophy and cell adaptation processes, you can get ready to apply this knowledge for your quizzes and your exam. I hope you have enjoyed this video and keep posted for more videos and for more educational material.